What is up, fight fans? It is your friendly neighborhood BJJ podcaster, Rafa Sparza, coming to you live right now, 7:06 Best Coast time. We are here to watch UFC Vegas 1-3. Does that go right? Nah, that seems better. Here's what we're doing here today. My apologies for being late. I wanted to go do other things, but I'm here with you now. What's up, Duncan Stewart? Good to see you, bro. Did you end up doing a Stone Cold Stunner? If not, you are dead to me. I would tell you guys this. We've already seen some really gruesome shit here on UFC 13 tonight. That does not mean that we are done. In fact, if you looked at that injury and you said to yourself, that's not normal, you would be correct, because most ears do not fall off mid-fight. However, we'd like to give some love to our friends and family, namely those folks over at Nogi BJJ Gear. If you use the promotional code GRAPPLING HOUR15, you take, 15% off of whatever you put in the cart. We also want to give some love to our friends over at DodgyCollective.com. Go visit them. They have some amazing stuff. You did not? Bro, I thought you were cool. Now I know you're not. Huge disappointment. Huge indeed. So we have a action-packed night for you guys. Coming up next is going to be Claudia Galdina versus Yan Sean. And I don't really know how to say that name, so I have purposely messed it up for the purpose of all of your hearing pleasure. Here's what I'm going to tell you guys. If you would do us a solid and give us a like and a share on Facebook, we will give you a cheers live on air. And yes, I say that knowing that I've already started drinking earlier in the day. So this could get dicey, if we're being honest. I know that I like to drink hard, party hard, but continuing to drink for a certain amount of hours can be very, very interesting to watch, especially when I see my speaking patterns go a certain way toward the end of the night. But that's just more pleasure for you guys, I'm sure, to hear me say ridiculous nonsense that I'm sure is entertaining to all. So we're about to get to the fights in just a second, but I want to say hello. Tell me your favorite moment of the fights that you have seen thus far in. We're going to be doing this all night long, so we're here for about a good 3 hours or so. Pick up a beer, grab a seat. Let's all get through this together, people, because the main event is definitely one that people go, oh, is that tonight? Yeah, I guess I'd watch that. I think that's about the general gist of what people are kind of feeling in terms of what we are seeing this evening. So we'll be taking your questions, your comments, your concerns, your hints, allegations, all of that good jazz. I can also tell you with huge confidence right now that our friend Kevin Phillips has returned from getting married. So a new episode of Verbal Tap will also be coming out early this week. I believe we have plans to record that tomorrow, which then means it goes out to your viewing ears very shortly thereafter. So look out for that. We have our first comment of the show, and I will take that live on air. And it says, Romanov win. Yeah, okay. I got to tell you, though, the Romanov win, the little forearm choke, it's hard to be a jiu-jitsu guy and watch that one. I think mainly in the sense that you get a lot of those goons who try and do that forearm choke. Now, granted, I hadn't been punched while someone tries to do that to me, but, bro, I mean, turn. I know it's a lot of pressure to have put on you, but you can turn a certain way and you'll be okay, bro. So, anyway, what do I know? I'm a giant idiot. So my apologies to everybody who's just tuning in, who is expecting to see us a little bit earlier. I want to thank John Torres. John, if you give us a like and a share, you've already given us the like. We will give you a toast on air like we do all fighters who get finishes within regulation. I can also tell you with some confidence that we are already booking. We booked 2 guests for Grappling Hour this week, 2 human beings that I think will be of very interest to both of the sides of jiu-jitsu that have gone on both here in the States and across the pond, because we try to keep our eyes and ears on everything that's going on. Hint, hint, Polaris. So take that for what you will. But I am enjoying hearing you guys send some notes, some love, some appreciation. It's been a long week here in the States. So I think the best way to celebrate this evening is to crack open a beer. My beer of choice for right now is from Barrow Brothers Brewing Company. And the name alone, I'm not going to lie, is what sold me on this one. This beer is called No one man should have all that sour. Now, granted, when I hear a pun like that, my first thought is immediately, how do I drink this? My second thought is usually, oh no, they're pretty mad I'm drinking this in the store without paying for it. The third thought is usually, I guess I'm taking this home and drinking it there. It is quite delicious. So to Barrel Brothers, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. It is quite delicious. It's been serving me well. Of course, early in the evening, we unfortunately saw our good friend Tony Burchak take a L to former training partner Gustavo Lopez. Tough loss, but we wish him all the best. Obviously, Tony is a tough son of a bitch, so I'm sure we will see him back sooner than later. But I appreciate all of you guys tuning in with us today, joining along, having some fun with us. Claudia is making her way into the octagon very shortly, and from there, we'll keep you posted as to what we are seeing on our side. Doing a quick little comb of comments, concerns, hints, allegations, all of that good jazz, making sure that we do our part to, look out for you guys and what you have to say to us while we do these things live and to the moment. What is that? It says the hot mail. Are you a fake account? I don't really know what that's about. If we're getting bots watching us, I guess that's fine, as long as you're an MMA fan. But that's the hot tamale. Okay. Yeah, that's what the beer will do. All right, well, cool. Tamales are delicious, so I can get behind that. Anyway, fans, very excited you're joining us right now. We're about to see this. No, bro, I'm Mexican. No, I got that part. I'm also Mexican. I also don't have a signifier in my name that identifies I am a hot tamale. But no, I appreciate that. Tamales are super delicious. I would say, though, for years, I had a moniker and actually a column in my high school newspaper. You are delicious, too. Thank you. Don't really want to know if I should accept that or not. When I was in high school, I had a column called Legal Latino because I got really tired of people asking me if I was from another country. What's up, Shango? That was my quickest way of telling people, y'all can shut the fuck up. So, letting y'all know, we're already having a solid start to our day. My thanks if you guys are just joining in right now. We're going to take a moment right now to ask you, who do you have in this fight? Do you have Claudia or do you have her opponent, Jan? Hit me up in the comments section. We're about to see the fight gave away. So I want to put it in the official show record, if you would. So quickly chime in. Again, a like and a share on Facebook gets you a toast. I see G Baby giving us a nice little approval over here. Cheers to you. Appreciate that. Haven't seen that. What's up, Create Freedom Grappling? You showed back up. Still looking very excited for that. Getting texts from some friends who are watching as well. I see Yan. I see nice haircut. That's more important than who's going to win, if we're being honest. Yeah, I like it. It's a little bit short right there and around here. But then I realize I'm wearing a mask all the time, so no one's going to see if this is super short or not. It looks better on camera, but in person, people go, where's the thing? Where's this at? I digress. And it says, I like Sean to win. And it says, what do you think about Khabib? I think Khabib is an awesome grappler who occasionally had fights that would get me interested. Oh, shit. Yan just got rocked a little bit. And Claudia looks like she wants to capitalize with uppercase murder. She gets a takedown very quickly, gets put into a guard. Was he GOAT or not? No. Lightweight, definitely very, very good. Maybe the best in all the lightweight division. But a GOAT is somebody who compels you to watch their fights in awe and spectacularity. And I don't think he had that. So that's my opinion. A qué hora? That's a good question. Well, right now, hold on. I'm getting 3 notes at once right now. Right now, we are watching, actually, though, Claudia Kalita's trying to put the pressure on Yan against the cage right now. So that is what's happening on our stream. I hope that you are watching the fight because we right now have already started the fights, just to let you know. So we are very much at the very first fight of the main card. There have been some other fights that have happened, some gruesome, some not, some regular. And that's been something that we've been very, very sad to miss today. But we had to do some other stuff. So I appreciate you asking for that comment. Meanwhile, Claudia pushing Yan up against the cage. She now has a very, very standing and game Yan pushing right back into her. But Claudia with the pressure very quickly up in this fight. Now Yan might have almost switched the position, keeping her balance very nicely. She's basically going to start maneuvering ever so slightly. And Yan, once again, coming in with some knees. Nothing too crazy right there. And it says, I feel like the GOAT talk is so complex, especially when it comes to different weight divisions, pay-per-view sales, performance, athleticism, and etc. That's a very good point. I think the difference for GOAT status with me is that if I don't feel compelled by your ability to fight, there has to be an X factor. I don't care how many losses Anderson Silva takes. The fact that I would still have an element of awe when I would see him fight, when I would see him bust through the matrix, you can't replicate that. If you see Khabib be dominant, you think, wow, he's amazing at what he does. If somebody says, hey, listen, there's going to be a fight with Khabib, or you could watch one with Georges St. Pierre. The answer is very simple. You will watch the one with Georges St. Pierre. You will see Khabib if you have time. So to me, that doesn't necessarily designate GOAT talk in there. Back to the action at hand. More of the same still happening right now. You are seeing Claudia continue to put pressure up against one Yan, and both underhooks here. I wonder if we're going to see another takedown, but I have to say, Yan has been very composed in all these terrible positions as we have seen thus far in. So very much waiting to see how you guys are interpreting this as well. Meanwhile, agreed. Okay. Thank you very much, G-Baby. Appreciate that one as well. We're already starting to see some of them unload on this one. What's up, Jits Mom? Good to see you as always. Oh, man. Now, Yan gets dropped a little bit. She gets her in her guard right now. And both of these ladies are just kind of letting go here. This is very nice to see both an active guard and a fighter within guard still trying to go murderous with their punches. Yan very sneakily trying to go up further with the guard. And for every time she tries to pull her in and break the posture down, you see Claudia respond in kind by just bringing a fist to face. All right, now you see Claudia, she slowly starts to back out. There's only 10 seconds left in this round, but she has done a remarkable job thus far in. And Yan's still trying to keep those legs active to see if she can maybe get some kind of jiu-jitsu going in that space. So that is the way we have this very first round. I hope that you were enjoying it. It was a very, very interesting beginning to our fight. Let me see who else gave us some love right now. Michael Ochoa, look at you, bro. Mike, I hope you're here. I want to talk about this real quick because I want to reference what facts I have on hand. So those of you who may not know, I recently have received this Whoop app. Now, the Whoop app is very nice because you go out and you get some training in, and it records it. It picks up that. It also has a sleeve for when you're grappling so that you can kind of monitor what your heart rate is, how many calories you're burning. 10-9 Claudia, I would agree with that. Michael Ochoa, who just liked this, is in our Whoop group that I put together. You're all welcome to do it if you get this thing. Perfectly fine. Michael, just to give you an idea of what he's doing, occasionally has some strains that make me slightly concerned. His recovery is at 85%. To give you an indication of how much better his recovery is than mine, my recovery is at 47%, which begs the question, Ochoa, how the fuck are you getting so much rest and recovery Don't you have like a family or something? I'm on production, so I'm not going to sleep. That's not how it works. In fact, I've yelled at the people on the Whoop app to say, when they tell me, hey, listen, we suggest you get more sleep, I'm like, have you worked 12 hours days on a show? That doesn't happen, bro. Plus, I have like 5 other jobs that I do in addition to that. I'm just letting Mike know I have issues with him. What's up, the Todd Atkins Show? Good to see you. Thank you for joining us. Now that I've gotten that out of my system and personally accosted one of our fans, I'm going to go back to this. But again, if you want to join our group and get roasted lightly on air, you're more than welcome to. If you get the Whoop app, it's actually super great. And it's pretty remarkable to see what heart rate that you're able to get up as you are doing, your jiu-jitsu. And I love the sleeve. It's super badass. All right, back to the fight. 3:54 on my clock right now. We're seeing a very, very different style thus far in. They unloaded for the first 30 seconds, and now they're starting to get their wits about them because they're just starting to attack a little bit more methodical in this round. And you're seeing Yan have a little bit better success thus far in. Meanwhile, you are seeing Claudia maybe just kind of look around and say like, hey, I'm probably reserving my best efforts to pushing you up against the cage. And it said, from there, for Brian J, it said, is it me or did Yan win the fight from on the ground? No. Who the fuck's putting that up? She had a very active off of her back game. It says hard workouts and sleep aid. Boo. Listen, bro, I hope you know, like Michael Jordan in literally every moment of the ESPN documentary, The Last Dance, I took that personally. Legitimately, I see that you get better sleep than me, and I'm like, and that's when I took it personally. I see you have a better workout than me. I'm like, this motherfucker actually lifted better weights than all the people. And yes, in case you're wondering, I'm lifting some weights, not like really dumb weights, but like, appropriate for my age weights. So I see this monster get on with his fucking gloves and his barbell. Beast. So that's why I got to roll right now. And my whole concept, if I do roll with Ochoa, is to attack one of his legs, but figure out when it's after he has a leg day. So we'll make that happen in the future. Continuously, we are noticing right now that Trevor Whitman was saying the throwing of the jab is something to note in this fight. So as we look at these strikes going by right now, I want you guys to pay close attention to what Trevor is bringing to our attention right now. Very intriguing thus far. And says Melatonin Dog. Bro, I'm trying to be all natural, man. Don't be bringing that melatonin into this shit. What's next? You guys are going to start telling me to do steroids because it's the cool thing to do? Please. I'm not like some ADCC competitors, which, by the way, if you guys are thinking about it, today would have actually been ADCC trials. Think about how weird that would have been given today's climate. So, eek. Kind of glad that they didn't do it. Hey, what's up? G-Baby, I see that you have shared this broadcast, which means you are due for a cheers at one of these commercial breaks. So just letting you know, I have not forgotten about that. That is being put at the top of my list. Just right beneath drink this beer and right above, I'm not feeling it. Let me see. Thank you very much. Appreciate you guys very nicely walking through and sending some beautiful notes throughout the telecast. You guys are the true backbone of this show. All right. We're waiting on a few more seconds of interaction between these two. It's just 40 seconds left to go. It's a very interesting round. I don't know how you guys have this round scored. Now, granted, I was talking through part of it, but it does look fairly interesting, and I'm wondering if Yan is making a better impression in the second round, maybe enough to be competitive in this round. I'll leave that up to you and the judges, but it is kind of nice to see, at least on the standing game, the two of them there, because you are seeing Claudia a little bit more worse for the wear in the face, and just for a split second, Yan cracks her, Claudia kind of touches her face, and then all of a sudden Yan kind of sees that she's created some problems. Claudia immediately goes straight back into pushing her up against the cage, and they break we are done with the second round of this third round fight as Claudia takes a quick slab of blood off of the top of her face. All right, hit me with your scores. Where are you? Where do you stand in this fight thus far in? I must know. I don't have to know, but it's very helpful, if we're being honest. Says right here, Yan is tagging her. I would believe so, man. I mean, Yan is very much coming alive in this one. I don't know that I believe with whoever the UFC put up that said that Yan won the first round. But here we go. Oh, look at this. 10-9 Claudia. Interesting. Okay. I see a 1-1 right here from Kuika that says each lady has a round here. Okay. I see you all here. So as we continue to find out how this is going to go, 10-9 Claudia, 10-9 Yan. So are you saying that each took one? See, I think this is how scorecards get fucked up. Or did you change your mind midway through? You have to make it a lot more clear to me. I'm very, very drunk at this point. So the more difficult and higher reading level you put this at, the more I'm going to have difficulty reading it live on air. I would say this, Yan did double the strikes. It is 28-14. Meanwhile, in the first round, Yan actually did have more strikes over on Claudia. I just can't help but think those takedowns don't mean that she was going to be bypassing that. That's round 2. Thank you, Ochoa. See how much easier it is to do that? When you get too much sleep, you probably fall asleep at the keyboard, so you're not saying things in the proper way that communicates it. So, anyway, I'm not going to talk more shit about you. I'm going to take that on you when we roll. And I cheat to win, because that's what I'm going to do. And we're back at it. We're seeing here very much with the same kind of element. I think probably when she went back to her corner, Claudia got told by her corner, hey, listen, the biggest success that you've had thus far in is pushing her up against the cage and enacting a kind of pressure that makes it very difficult for Yan to get off any of her striking. In that last round, if she was beating you 2-1 on punches, you've got to make something very, very important happen here. And in the background, you can see Dana White. I can't tell if he's not compelled or if he's watching like the Notre Dame game. It's very difficult to get an idea of where he stands. Meanwhile, looking down over at here, thank you very much. Appreciate y'all with your notes. Going to give this a couple shares in just a moment, just so we can get everybody on the inside of what is happening, and y'all can have fun with us. All right, they now go back on over to the cage. This time, Yan breaks away very easily, and I think Yan understands she has to create a little bit of distance between the two so that she doesn't get sucked into these very, very drag-out kind of pressure battles. Because when she keeps it distance with the feet, she is proving to be a very, very big problem going on right now. But as we see this continue to play out in front of our eyes, we are seeing a number of you guys chime in and give us some notes in our comment section. Appreciate y'all. And to those of you who text me when this shit happens too, by the way, like, look at this. This is the shit I get. I get people who put notes in the comment section, which are much easier to integrate. But when I get text from people, I look and I go, watch it like a regular person and comment in the fucking comment section, you dicks. It's too much. Too many ways of communicating, people. Back at the cage right now, Claudia is looking to try and steal this round by just putting the pressure. She goes for a takedown, will not get it with a single underhook right here. Yan looking to distribute her weight a little bit better. That's keeping her upright. But if Claudia maybe reverses course, she probably could get it here. Nice reversal, though, by Yan, who now gets her opportunity to put some pressure on Claudia, who I think feels just fine in this position, almost kind of stalling her out. I think she might have just taken a look over at the clock. And Yan is getting off a few good elbows and knees here and almost dragged Claudia down to the ground. Claudia now reverses past double underhooks. The both of them are just trying to find their space, and Claudia is very much trying to deny those requests to let her get out of it. At a certain point right now, though, you did see Yan essentially just try to put both hands on her face to push her away to the outside. And it says continuously, just making a very, very muted style for Yan to not be able to get a win here. This could be a very, very interesting scorecard, by the way, the more that I start to look at it, especially in this third round. Because even though Yan gets off a few of these rabbit punches, Claudia's pressure is essentially it. And it does look like the referee is going to split them apart for the last 48 seconds, which could be a huge windfall for one Yan. I have a note here that says Yan wins. Okay, well, we haven't gotten there yet, so don't spoil it for us. Also, I think you're just saying that based on the performance you're seeing here. That's perfectly fine. All right, well, with 27 seconds, it's got to be something hopefully significant that happens here that can give us a little bit better of a feel in terms of how we're going to see this thing end. But I don't think we're going to get a storybook ending here. I think we're just going to get a very, very decisive kind of fight to get here for the judges. It's going to go to them, and they're going to have to figure this shit out. They exchange. Claudia immediately with their hands up, and Yan also follows suit. All right, Michael Ochoa says 29-28 Yan. Okay. Shango, what you got? What a day, kids. Taking a moment to go ahead and process all of your notes, all of your comments. This is so great. It is nice to be here on a Saturday night. It's been a long week at work for this guy. Being back on production, there's 60-hour work weeks. It is intense. In fact, I had to go in for a little bit of time today. So I've earned this beer, my friends. Not only did I not work it off, but I did some workout, but it's not the heavy one that does this. As I mentioned, still lifting weights feels very, very weird to me. So I'm enjoying it. Again, beer choice for right now. No one man should have all that sour from the Barrel Brothers. Thank you very much for the beautiful and delicious beer. It is making my day. And I mean that. It has been a phenomenal one. It says, your furry dream. Ooh, I agree. 2-1 Yan. Ooh, this is going to get dicey here, kids. It's just because Claudia wasn't doing anything really with that fucking edge of the cage in the third round. I don't know. This is one of those ones where you feel like stupid judges could very easily fuck this up. But I did just get a result here, and that result does say Yan does pick it out with the unanimous decision, 29-28. Look at that. Claudia looking a little surprised. But are any of us really all that surprised here, kids? Nah. Oh. Yan screaming and almost about to get dropped by her coach who goes to pick her up. Well, bring in a flag in there. Good for her, though, man. That was a great fight. All right. Back at work, I'm looking to see what y'all have here. It says, good win by Yan. Absolutely. Be interesting to see if we end up doing a interview here, since there does look like there will need to be a translator. Of course, the obligatory selfie. Everybody in good spirits and in a good mood. We'll continue this on. I'm going to go ahead and give this a share over to our friends on our Verbal Tap page. Tell me something that happened during your week. I'd like to hear something of note that you either enjoyed, didn't enjoy, something that you saw. Maybe you watched something on a Netflix or something to that effect. I don't really know. But I would like to hear what is going on in your lives, because we got some time to kill here, kids. They're going to try and milk this thing out. And that is going to bring Yan to 6-0 in the UFC. That is impressive right now. Good on her. All right, create post. Join us for some fight coverage this evening. Fam. You always have to say fam in whatever post you put up, because if you don't put it up, people don't think you're fam. The whole point is you want people to feel like they're family. there's one thing I learned from the Olive Garden. It's to do that. All right, let's take that off. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I mean, look at that. Claudia with only 33 strikes to Yan's 63. Let's see what gets said here. Okay. She is doing some English. That's pretty impressive. Good on her. She did just say she feels good in response to a very long-winded John-Hannick question. I'm not sure we're getting a proper translation of any of that. I think it was, if they really didn't use any comma or punctuation, it would have said she was very excited about COVID. I think there was like a punctuation mark, at least a semicolon, if we're being honest there, kids. She doesn't get a finish, but since she doesn't get a finish, we're going to go straight to G Baby's cheers. So his toast goes on out 2-1. Giancarlo, the esteemed, the beloved G Baby. What do I say about G Baby? Well, first and foremost, I don't know if you know this, but every year G Baby gets together with his best friends and hosts a giant Thanksgiving party. So if you don't get in on it, you better go now. Find out where he lives. If you wait at the end of the show, I'll just give you his address and you can go over to his Thanksgiving. I know. You're welcome. What's up, Ashley MMA? Oh, what a day. All right, kids. So that was a good start to our coverage here today. There are still 4 more fights. I don't know which one you're most excited about. You can tell me. Tell me in the comment section. More than happy to go ahead and keep that going. I know tonight it is very interesting. Somebody asked me already. They said, who do you have? Do you have Thiago or do you have Glover Teixeira? The answer is I don't know on this one. I think my gut is telling me to go Thiago. Glover is very crafty in what he does. I just find it very difficult to bet on people who are past 40. And I say this as somebody who is staring down the barrel of that age. So, yeah, I'm essentially insulting myself. I don't know if you guys feel differently. Do you feel that Glover can continue to produce the kind of output that he has in the past? Do you feel like he has the clear advantage here? Where are you on all of this? Because I would love to hear that, and I would love to get a sense of where you go here. Everybody's talking about the haircut. Yes, that's why I do it. I make sure that you guys are serviced. Yes, thank you very much. It is good to have a haircut, by the way. I hate when I'm at work and I do not get the opportunity to, fully look my fullest. So, want to start the week off strong. Got this. Look at this. What is that? A fade. It's very difficult also. I have a giant head. So trying to figure out a proper barber to really work with this. I went to my guy and he kind of looked at me and he goes, the usual? And I said, yes. And I thought, this is maybe the 3rd or 4th time I've gone to this guy. And he cut it and I go, that's not really the usual. But you know what? I'm wearing a mask all the time now. So who the fuck cares? But I appreciate it. It is shorter. It is cropped. I look a little less homeless with all this being scrappy. So anyway, kids. All right. Giga. You guys are going to have to tell me how to say that one better. But I want to call him Gigapet at this point because that's the only thing I've ever seen with GIGA. Le Bouffe. All right, I'm going to take off the props to myself for a good haircut. It says, Giga for the win, karate. Did we root for karate, though? I feel we shouldn't. Our karate people are mortal enemies in jiu-jitsu. I feel like that's the way it's supposed to go, right? Like, we're not supposed to like people who like karate. The Karate Kid, different story. Karate itself, unless you're like Lyoto Machida, either way, appreciate you giving us that I'll take who else you guys got going on. Look at this. We got Adam Woods giving us a nice share, which means he is about to get a toast in a few minutes. So I am making note of that. You're next on the list. And he will be getting 2 toasts because he just shared it on his Facebook as well. Look at that. We're doing it up big here tonight, kids. All right, let's take some more water in because, listen, I got to mix this shit up. I have been drinking since, 3 p.m.? So, All right, what else have you guys been up to this week? I asked you that. You didn't give me shit. So I'm not just asking these rhetorical questions to just have rhetorical questions. I'm asking you so that I can make you guys part of this show as well. It's like when I ask you who wins, well, who do you think is going to win? And you have notes for that. I ask you, what are you doing with your lives? It makes me a little concerned. Are you guys okay? Are you doing anything good? What's up, Afternoon Jiu-Jitsu? Good to see you back and joining us again on this wonderful Saturday evening. I was about to call today Sunday afternoon. Jesus Christ, Raph, get it together, bro. It says this fight is very even. Maybe Giles. Okay. Very interesting. Chikazi and Simmons. A 5-0 start in the UFC is incredible, by the way. Would love to have it if I could. Afternoon Jiu-Jitsu. Don't know if you're still here, but I'll ask you, have you had a nice week? What have you been up to this week? Maybe you'll answer it. Unlike these cowards on the other version of the show who won't dare tell me what happened in their life this week. I'm just kidding. I love you all. It's like choosing a favorite child. I can't choose a favorite audience member because you all are my favorite audience members. All of you. I heard him say it the right way, and I don't know what it is. For the fight after this one. No, I got that part. Thank you. It says, much like you, doing 12,000 podcasts a week. Not really 12,000, but it's a good story, bro. Yeah, I mean, hey, listen, dude, you're up. I mean, what gets weird is when you do multiple telecasts a day, and I look and I go, oh, well, Adam's done his show for the day. And then maybe 2 hours later, it says, according to Woods, is going live right now. And I was like, again? Holy fuck, kid. There's not that many athletes to even interview. Jesus Christ. I digress. All right, that's a good time to go ahead and give our good friend, according to Woods, a.k.a. Adam Woods, a toast. So that's what we're going to do here. Do you guys remember when Stone Cold Steve Austin got run over? And then Rikishi tried to say it was him that actually did the running it over. And then Vince McMahon somewhere in there did a whole thing about it's me, blah, blah, blah. You know who it actually was? You know who actually ran Stone Cold Steve Austin over? I'm not going to say it's Adam Woods. I would say if you were to look into it, according to Woods, you might find your answer. Cheers to you, good sir. He did it for The Rock. God, man. We always talk about those one more matches. The fact that we're so blessed to see those two have a match like that. It says Raph gets a frantic pace at all things. I'm trying to catch up. It's for The Rock. It's so amazing. I love when those things happen. I love when you nerds show yourself for the pro wrestling fans you should be. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you, kids. Other than I remember that storyline being so ridiculous for Rikishi being named it and having such a adverse reaction of like, really? I'm wasting it on Rikishi? Because like that seems like, oh, no offense, Rikishi. You're awesome. And I run into you occasionally when you go watch kickboxing fights. I would just say, when you're a kid and you look over and you go, that logically doesn't make sense. It's bad when you're a child and you go, I don't think that logically works for me, but if anybody else wants to call it that, sure, that's a storyline that has happened and we all see it. Very underwhelming, says that. Yeah, no, Django, you're 100% right on that. It was very underwhelming, especially to, how old was I at that time? Was I like 16-year-old Raph? 16-year-old Raph was very, very angry about it. So there you have it. All right, kids. Oh, speaking of which, the people, I know we mentioned The Last Dance. It appears, according to Lillian Garcia, as told, I believe, with Chris Van Vliet, it looks like the people who did Michael Jordan's The Last Dance are doing a documentary about Stone Cold Steve Austin. I don't know if you've heard that, but if that's the case, mwah, chef's kiss. Cannot wait for that, because think about the way that they did Michael Jordan. Get that out of your mind. Now think about them profiling a real champion. I know Jordan won many rings, but Stone Cold Steve Austin won like 1,000 more titles. So I'm just saying. What is up, Jew Jidus, number 1? Good to see you joining us. We're very excited about the Stone Cold Steve Austin, allegedly, Last Dance interpretation here. And it says, if you combine their names, Giga Simmons seems like one of the alternate members of Kiss. Yeah. I don't understand Kiss. Kiss is some white person nonsense that they really go crazy for, and all I think of is, it's kind of sad. These guys are old. Like, they're just in makeup, and this is the best that people had in the 70s. All right, good for them. Also, integrating Kiss into WCW. Womp womp. All right, I'm done talking shit about Kiss. Bruce Buffer's in the middle of the octagon, and good for him. You've got one Jamie Simmons, long distant relative of one Richard, in there looking like he's about to sweat some oldies. That hair is very cool. I don't know how friendly it is as a fighter, because it just looks prone to maybe just flying the fuck on out. I was made for loving you as fire. If you're at an arcade, maybe. But then when you get out of being 13, I don't know. You know, I went to, like, when I was in Vegas, they had the Kiss golfing, and I was like, no, I'm just trying to go mini golfing with my wife and do something silly and fun. And they're like, you want to go to Kiss golf? And I was like, no, I don't. I just give me the fucking putter. And they play all of the Kiss songs. And when you hear them, you go, yeah, no, I still hate them. No, my hate is 100% valid. Anyway, here we go, kids. We're straight into the fights in 3, 2, 1. Actually, we're already there. It's 4:50 on my clock. Hopefully, that is somewhere in the region of where you are right now as well. All right, you've got one Simmons in the white trunks, Chikaze in the black trunks. Switch of stance from Chikaze. Meanwhile, Simmons being very cautious, looking around. Woo! Chikaze with the beautiful kicks there. Wastes no time. Simmons tries to put in a little pressure, almost like he was going to go for a takedown here. Changes levels. He just didn't get down far enough. And Chikaze bracing for action. This is just very interesting. Chikaze trying to get some distance to see if he can just push away and probably load up either the hand or a kick for him to create a little bit of the pow to Chikaze's one knockout power there. And we've seen it happen before, but Jesus. And I also don't know how you wear anklets in the UFC. Anytime I've worn an anklet and my leg has felt some kind of small injury, it has literally provided no support. But again, do not fight for a living, so will not profess, just telling you, like any kind of an expert over on this side. Jamie Simmons, very, very skeptical, kind of engaging, or at least getting on the inside of Chikaze. Chikaze keeping hands very loose, very evasive. I think that's done on purpose to maybe create a sense of false modesty with his ability and his range. Simmons now starting to back up a little bit, ever so slightly. Meanwhile, Chikaze has just his right arm at about a mid-level of being up. His entire left hand is just waving down at the bottom. And he's almost getting Jamie to just continuously flinch here. I think really that's not boding well for reaction time, because he does seem to be missing. And you do see Jamie kind of taking the bait each and every time. It says, what would you call Simmons's takedown defense move? It's a good question, except for the fact that I don't know that my wrestling's any different. Like, if I'm legitimately being honest, I legitimately think that that's how my wrestling defense honestly looks like when we do wrestling rounds. And I can't rely on my jiu-jitsu. I think I just kind of look really goofy like that. But if I were to give it a name, having prefaced with my wrestling sucks, it would just be the no, don't take me down. Ooh, now we're talking hot fire. That little judo implementation that he had right there was beautiful. But you notice every time he gets any kind of a double under or any kind of underhook here that he's losing on the pummeling game, he immediately steps back and very quickly. And that was a nice jab setup. What's up, Alma? Good to see you. Nice jab. I like him setting up that takedown with the jab. I'd like to see a little bit more of that. I hope it doesn't leave him too exposed, but you are seeing one Chikazi being ever so evasively aloof almost here. What is up, Khalid, FSM 2? Thank you for joining us. We're watching some UFC Vegas 13. I'm glad you could join us. Hopefully you're watching along. If not, I will provide you a nice soundtrack. No, a beautifully timed kick. Ooh, Herb Dean has seen enough. Yeah, at first you almost wonder, is that the right timing? But Herb right on the call just to make sure, like, yeah, Jamie did not know that was coming. Chikazi was very, very, very clear that he did not want to make an overcommitment of punching power. He was able to get the timing, found it. Just when they do this replay, though, just look at the calibration that he puts in on a very short amount of time to create this. Nice kick to the midsection, steps back 2, 3, 4, then comes back, goes over the hand that's supposed to be protecting him here. And yes, this is his first UFC TKO KO. It says it's a great name. Thank you. I like to Giga. I don't know what that means, Joffrey. I like to Giga sounds like a really rejected techno song that I just completely forgot from the 90s, but sure. Oh, well, Chikazi was very, very impressive. Oh, shut up with your fucking karate, Michael Ochoa. Stick that with your fucking extra hours of sleep that you get compared to me. You know, people call for recounts in political elections. I want to count for recounts in your sleep. I want to be like, I want to see the receipts. You know, there weren't people who were allowed in to see if you were actually sleeping at that time. I think you just put your whoop down and then you just keep it there and you don't even have it on your wrist. I need verification that you were actually getting that rest, sir. I like the haircut. Thank you very much. What is up, Amazing Adrian 5? And you said I like Giga to win. Yes, I think I did get that part. But that is good. All right. Next fight is going to be Ronnie Barcelos versus Khalid Taha. Khalid Taha is also a fucking... Like, some of these names tonight are too much. Listen, I told you guys I've been drinking today, and I don't need that in my life for these things to be all that difficult. Technically, we're not even done with this one, but yeah, okay. So this next UFC pay-per-view, Shevchenko, okay, I'm into that. Figueiredo versus Perez, I do like Perez, so I do like that. I don't know that that's a pay-per-view, though. Like, let's be honest. How much would you pay for that pay-per-view? The UFC 255? I'd pay $25 for that one. All right. Gigapet with the win here tonight. Good on him. Looks like he's very confused as to where he's supposed to point the flag. Is that one Benil Darush? Believe so, as he pulls down his masks. It's very interesting to see, though, like, why are we pulling down masks is, I guess, the only thing here. Like, we know it's you, dude. People are so weird in this era. It's like, oh, I have to wear this mask and I hate it, but people need to see my face. They may not know it's me. Says, I don't want to recount, but if you're talking a WCW 3 count, I'm in. What a fucking crazy ass time in WCW. If there's anything I want to go back to, I want to go back to just being in the room when they would pitch really dumb ideas in WCW. And I'd like to see the yes men that go, listen, he's Andre the Giant's son, but we're not going to say Andre the Giant. We're just going to say the Giant. Do we have to do that? I mean, he's tall. What else are we going to do? How many more other tall people are we going to get? He's his son. So there's that. Also, have you played Mortal Kombat? Yeah. Okay, cool. We're going to make a character named Glacier. Why are we going to do that? We're going to put him like with techno, and we're going to strobe the lights, and it's going to look blue. Yeah, okay, fine. Just fucking do it. It says Barcelos will win next fight. I'm into that. Look at that. Chikoff is. I don't know that you could gift wrap bow tie your flag onto you. I don't know what that really goes for in his country, but ugh, I can only imagine what would happen if I bow tied it here in the States. So Giga says that he's happy to be here, and it says thank Vince Russo. I know, dude. Both of you. Vince Russo's everything on a pole match is. I actually think everything on a pole match is really fucking funny. All right, so John Anik is S and his D on the finish. We have to do a toast. I think we have to do one more toast for Woods, so I'll figure out if I'm going to do that one next. If I don't want to, I won't do it just this moment, but I am not forgetting it, Woods, just to let you know. Buff Bagwell's mom on a forklift match. Into it. Would watch. 1,000,000% would watch that right now. You know, that does sound like something that would be really, really well advertised on AEW. They'd be like, Vince Russo presents Buff Bagwell's mom on a forklift match. Is it on Wednesday at 9 p.m.? I'll watch that. I know it happened. I'm just pointing out how sometimes even the dumbest shit that we did back then passes for okay stuff now. And I think in some ways it's beautiful. I know. I was there. I saw it. The reason why I'm laughing is because if you look at AEW now and you see fucking God, Orange Cassidy just fucking crush it. And you get so happy for him. And you think if this was 20 years ago, they would have fucked that up. The mimosa shit on AEW. Oh God, I actually did love that. I'm perfectly fine with that. But it does seem like if you had done that 20 years ago, people would have been like, that's the worst segment I've ever seen of it. Michael Ochoa says the Shockmaster. Ochoa, man. I'm so glad you bring that up. That's all the more reason why you're a jobber. Boo. It says the Giant fell off the top rope, Joe Louis Arena at the beginning of the pay-per-view and came back to main event against Hogan by the end of the night and took an L. Well, yeah, dude, he had a good excuse. If you fall off the top of anything, you're probably not going to be fighting at your best, if we're being honest. Just saying. Also, everything they did with the Big Show back then, all you could think of was, this poor dude has to commit to this. And it says, yeah, when you grew up in the 90s, the bar is pretty low. Absolutely. But yeah, dude. I mean, that's the hardest part about being a pro wrestling fan is we've seen some things, man. Like, I feel like if we ever have to tell the assorted history of pro wrestling to the children, what's up, Christian Bovart? It's like telling them, listen, guys, there was a moment where Billy Gunn referred to himself as an ass man, and we all thought it was good. Like, it was just a different era, man. You know, it's hard to explain. He had a song. He likes to touch him. It's not going to go over well right now, but believe me, it was huge at the time. So, anyway. Them's the notes that we're getting. And it says, it's the hardest shit to defend to people who don't enjoy it. So, here's what I do tell people is, wrestling is so funny that if you can't at the bare minimum laugh at it, then really maybe you need to check yourself. Is really what it comes down to. I think that's how I found myself intrigued by it all. So I just said, how can you not get engaged by somebody like the Macho Man? Like, that's just an engaging personality. And then if people tell you like, oh, I wish it was like how it used to be. And it's like, well, no, you grew up, they grew up, things changed. That's it. They'll be like, oh, but what about the Macho Man? I love the Macho Man. Okay. Hulk Hogan. I used to say my prayers and eat my vitamins. Yeah, no shit, dude. So stop pretending like you're cooler than the rest of us. We all grew up and watched it. And a lot of us who are fight fans were these guys who watched the pay-per-views, or had our friends over to watch them. So don't act like you're better than anybody. Except all of you are better than Michael Ochoa. Let's just be very clear about that. Because he cheats on his Whoop app. Which, by the way, I have to meme this, but I think you'll enjoy this. What's up, Scotty? I went to go recently, probably the past month or so, to my nurse to, just get like a regular checkup. And I go to her and she looks at me and I tell her, I was like, oh, yeah, I get my heart rate checked by this thing. And she goes, oh, what is that called? That's very interesting. And I show her the app and she goes, I'm so sorry. What is it called again? I go, oh, it's called Whoop. And she goes, as in whoop that ass? And I go, wasn't expecting that from you, my nurse. But yeah, like whoop that ass. Okay. So, in case you ever wonder how to tell people what this is called, because they always go, what's that called? It's called whoop. Whoop what? Like, whoop that ass. I don't know if that's what they intended, but it's still a silly ass name. Anyway, it says the Giant was doing missile kicks off the top rope. Yeah, he was. I mean, Paul's a very, very talented dude. Open a fresh can. This is of all people. You don't expect to have this with your Filipino nurse who's all of like 50 some odd years old, who's like, you mean like whoop that ass? And I was like, mm-hmm. Yep. What's up, Dusty Neal? Glad you're joining us here today for some UFC Vegas 13 coverage. My name is Rafa Esparza. I host many different shows. You either recognize me from the Grappling Hour or from Verbal Tap, or probably not Heel Section. We only do those every once in a while. Or Early Late Night. Just telling you. Not so talented to keep his show on Netflix. Be nice to him, man. He tried. And if we're being honest, Tim Allen got 7 seasons, is it 9, of Last Man Standing. It's not a hard barometer to have, but family shows are a different deal. Dusty Neal, where are you coming from, sir? Where are you joining us from this evening? El Gigante. Oh, my God. You keep wondering why I call you a jobber, and it's because you keep throwing in the most random of people. Yep. Yep. Normally in between waiting for us to see fights, our friends who are in the comment section throw the most obscure names of wrestlers that aren't necessarily going to pop up at the top of your head, but that you probably go, "Oh, right. I've seen it, El Gigante. Fort Wayne, Indiana. Good Lord. My apologies." Well, look at you, man. I'm glad you could. Oh, no. It says he had a solid push of the WCW. WWF only used him for a short time with The Undertaker. That is good to know. Look at that. Saw one of my friends just took Instagram Live, died on out. Boo. Yeah, he had a Instagram died on out. You're back with us now. You're not going anywhere. I'm not allowing you to. Anyway, you're talking about the Giant, aka Paul Wright. Yeah, no, he had a very good run over, and it's just because Hogan looked at him and goes, "Hey, brother, you're really tall. Let's do some business, brother." And then they, did the brother bullshit. But yeah, that's what happens, man. Meanwhile, what else do I have for you all this evening? I'm looking over at this. God damn, dude. Seeing some of these notes I'm getting right now. Dusty Neal, we see you back over here. Thank you back for coming on back this way. Appreciate you, my friend. I was going to tell you I was going to roast a little bit more of you being from Indiana, but then I realized, you've already had it rough, man. Why would I do that? Fort Wayne, Indiana. All right. Dusty, what are you most excited to watch tonight on the UFC card? Tell me in the comment section. Shango, good to see you back. Thank you very much, gents, for making your way over this way. And it says, would you rock a Giant Gonzalez rash guard? I would, in case you're asking. Yeah, I mean, honestly, dude, our sponsors hooked you up with a really fucking cool rash guard. Nogi BJJ Gear hooked us up with the Perfect Plex, or a Fisherman Suplex, with two Lucha Libre masked wrestlers performing the both the giving and the taking of the move. And I thought, man, that's a pretty fucking cool rash guard. So I usually get props from my pro wrestling nerd friends whenever I wear that. It says, who would you say is the Gangrel of the UFC? Starts a stable, works with the new young talent, even if he himself doesn't go over as much as his underlings end up going up, but poses a weird supernatural threat to the Undertaker. So you got to figure, okay, this is making me think of a lot of different people. If you got to figure out who the Undertaker is in that one, it's almost like you're Donald Cerrone or somebody who's been in there for a long time that everybody kind of respects. Given that, could be somebody like a Diego Sanchez, although it's hard to say that he is a stable. Love this breakdown. Hey, listen, you asked me a legitimately good question, so I'm really trying to give you a really good answer here. Michael Ochoa, get the fuck out of here. You're trying to bring real analysis into this. Barcelos has some serious wrestling skills. Taha might be outgunned. I didn't even ask you who was supposed to win this next fight. You're getting ahead of me. I'll come back to that. Now to the real question. Diego Sanchez has to be up there, though. But I feel like Diego Sanchez could also be like a fringe character. Like Diego Sanchez sometimes does cut unintentional, subconscious promos in the style of Paranoid Macho Man, which is why it's so good. Although now he's not as quite there, but at his most paranoid, it was up there, man. I would just look at him and go, he's gone, but at least this is entertaining. It says Diego Sanchez is the Gangrel of the UFC. Okay. Well, we might be there then. If you guys are willing to accept that as fact, then we can get the board of educators to certify that one. Diego is like the Blue Meanie. You'd be nicer to him. The Blue Meanie did not have a tough season one. He also has occasionally had some like barn burners, so I'm not about to throw the Blue Meanie under the fucking bus. That's rude. And for those of you sticking around here, I appreciate you. Know that. For those of you who are very, very lost by all of the pro wrestling talk, first of all, you're not really a fan of our show. You know that I will indulge all of these questions. And third, if you have any other question, you're more than welcome to throw it at me as we do these shows, because Lord knows we're usually filling 3 to 7 hours of content at any given point. So just know I'm flexible enough to take your questions, your comments, your concerns, your hints, your allegations, all of that good jazz, because this is my jam here, people. You know I love doing this, and I love you guys giving us this. It says, Donald Cerrone is the Sandman. I kind of see it. Yeah, you guys are bringing in all these outside characters where I feel like the Sandman at least was in the title kind of contention for a little while. It's hard. Mixing in all these different eras. I mean, I kind of get where you're going with it, so I don't really hate it. Oh, you know what? Diego is Al Snow. Okay. The problem is Al Snow was doing more behind the scenes, so I don't really know. Cowboy is like hardcore Hawley. Warmer. Because oddly, if Cowboy was more successful, he'd be Stone Cold. But he doesn't have the success that Stone Cold had as like the top guy. Like he was never the top draw, though he's a big draw. Okay, we'll marinate on that one. Because I always feel like whenever Stone Cold watches these fights, because he watches the UFC, it's always interesting to hear his take on these people, because sometimes he's going on fight game, and then sometimes it's just on personality. And he's like, this guy's really over. I don't know if you know much about this Donald Cerrone, but the man is a bad ass. If you notice, sometimes when he does have a little bit of like that little bit of lisp in there with the Stone Cold, I think that's really what captures a true Stone Cold essence. It's just that little bit of a, if you say something about Stone Cold, you got to make sure it's right here. And then when it ends, he gets real high and steeps right here. So just that's the little crucial thing that makes a good Stone Cold impression versus so. But I appreciate that. And it says, oh no. If Diego is Al Snow, then Josh Favia is Head. Actually, you know what? It stands. That shit fucks. Hey, listen, guys, there's a fight that's going on. You nerds get out of your fucking head on this one. Ronnie, Barcelos versus Kalita. All right. We had a note here earlier that let us know from Ochoa, who was giving us analysis while we were geeking out right now. But he reminds us that Barcelos has serious wrestling skills. Taha might be outgunned. So just reminding you guys, that is what we have at play. Tell me what you're thinking, what you're feeling, all of that good jazz. And I have not forgotten about you, according to Woods. We will be doing another cheers for you in just a few minutes. But in the meantime, let's all get together and just enjoy the fight game for what it is. Fight begins. Taha in the black, Barcelos in the yellow, because if you're from Brazil, you better have some fucking yellow on your trunks. So Barcelos, nice movement off between the two, gets in the first kick, a little high on the body there. It says Stone Cold's voice is George Bush on roids, allegedly. I mean, George Bush is just a little different. He's a little sleepier. That's why if we're talking about any president ever having like sleepiness, I thought it was George W. Bush or Reagan. Maybe it's just for Republicans. Who can say? Back to the fight at hand. 4:10 on my clock. Ooh, look at that fucking kick. Man, don't you just love when you can make somebody just trip and fall with the power of a kick? It's impressive, my friends. John Anik going on and on about the top 15. Ridiculous. Thank God Dominic Cruz is there to correct him. The professor, Dominic Cruz. Ooh, look at that. I love both of that exchange right there. Barcelos with a high kick. Meanwhile, Taha. Ooh, Barcelos again kicking out that leg. That is some great power. Just looking at those calf kicks continuously. What I was going to say before that, though, Taha had a nice counter, though. Just caught Barcelos just a little bit there, and Barcelos trying to make it a very dirty fight. Now unloading with a series of strikes here. Now, just to let you know over here, when Michael Ochoa says Barcelos has some serious wrestling skills, we haven't even gotten there yet. Now we're at the point where maybe the wrestling comes a little bit more into play as Barcelos is starting to push one Taha into the fence. Ooh, there's the wrestling skills that Ochoa was talking about. Very good control, gets over to mount almost effortlessly. You do see Taha trying to get a butterfly hook in. Now Barcelos wrist controls all the way to what might be giving up the back. Yikes, this is not looking very solid for one Taha. This is looking like it could be done. No, he loses the grip midway through. What is up, AMP 813 BJJ? We are watching Barcelos put on some heavy work on the Taha. Now, with one hook in kind of a turtle position, he's going to try and flatten him out, pushes him over to the edge of the cage. This is going to be an interesting mix of how this next series plays out here, kids. Backpacks him down. He has both hooks in. He has a minute 55 left to work here. This is very, very bad if you are one Khalid Taha. Again, fighting off those 2-on-1s consistently here. This is very difficult spot. Ooh, for a split second, though, Taha bursts out and manages to find himself into Barcelos' guard. And Barcelos trying to just pull him down and keep his pressure 100% contained. Barcelos looking like he wants to set up an armbar here. And yes, does get it. Positions him over. This could be problematic. Although Taha just beasting out of it. Nothing technical about that. You're going to see Taha maybe try and get a trip or a takedown of his own. And one Shango Dixon writes in, damn, son. Damn, son, indeed, my friends. This is fucking intense to see. 55 seconds left here on this clock right now. Ooh, Taha trying to get in some revenge here. And you are seeing Barcelos, who could be maybe just a smidge tired after putting in all that work. Taha trying to eke up a few punches here and there, peppering them in to see if he maybe can make a better impression. Barcelos does almost do a duck under, but instead, ever so slightly, just trying to pull him down. And in between, you see Barcelos very nicely back away as Taha looked like he was just trying to unload on him right there. 15 seconds left in this first round. Again with the calf kick. If Barcelos is going to win this round, it will be due in part to basically just all aroundness. Look at that. Catching him with both strikes, the takedowns, a knee. Just a very well-rounded first round for Barcelos. I would be exhausted after that fucking first round. What do you guys think? Tell me in the comment section. Let me know what you're feeling, what you're thinking. Thank you, Megan Johnson, for the like. If you give us a like and a share, you do know that we give you a toast on air, as we are going to do right now for our good friend, one according to Woods. Hey, listen to this, friends. I don't know if you know this about Adam Woods, but Adam Woods was the guy when Belle Biv DeVoe went into the studio to record the hit song Poison. He was the one that when they finished recording it, he said, "This is good, but can one of you do a and they go, why would we end the song like that? And he goes, just trust me. That's how you want to end the song. And that's how it happened. And that, my friends, the rest, as they say, is history. Cheers to you, one Adam Woods. Go listen to his podcast. I don't know what the fuck my downstairs neighbor is doing, but it sounds like he is literally hanging up 15 different things every single week, which also makes it sound like he's knocking on the fucking panels or the wood here to try and tell us we're being too loud. I tell you, it's ridiculous. No one person should have all this shit to hang up. Look at this. Johnny Sheep, Ace Vez 7304. Glad you're joining us. We're watching some UFC Vegas 13. Appreciate you being here. And it says Barcelos is treating Taha like Stone Cold did every McMahon at the end of every Raw during the Attitude Era in round 1. Very much so. What wish fulfillment that was to see a boss get allegedly continuously Stone Cold stunnered every single week. Also, I'd like to point this out. I saw some people go as professional wrestlers for Halloween. But if I don't see you perform their finishing move, like, what's the point of being that professional wrestler? So we had some friends who dressed up like Stone Cold Steve Austin, and they didn't bother to do a stunner. And I say to me, didn't happen. Might as well be worthless. So my 2 cents. Doesn't have to be yours. All right. And we continue on. Woo. Barcelos continuing very quickly with the same amount of work that he was putting in that first round. Barcelos looks like what you would get if you combine Jose Aldo with Ja Rule. Barcelos unloading a little bit on Taha. Taha looking to maybe try and even things up this round, especially after how dominant that was for Barcelos. Just every single dimension, he was able to put some hurt on him. Meanwhile, we're 3 minutes left to go. Ooh, low blow here. That means they're going to go to their respective corners and take a few minutes. If I were Taha, I'd take as much of that 5 minutes as possible. Oh, he's got that good hurt face. That one where you look out and you just kind of like, ugh. Yeah. Oh, look at that. They have a red clock that tells you how much time they're taking right now. That's new. I'm going to call that the fucking kick to the nuts clock. Oh. Yep. Now he's tastefully trying to jump around and get things moving down there. It is very funny whenever that does happen. Different fighters have different ways of trying to, I guess, make themselves feel okay again. And yeah, if you've ever been kicked down there, not very pleasant. It is very funny though to see how they rev up the engine again, one would say. But I like that he's like, hey, do you mind standing here to the ref? He's like, I'm gonna do some weird ass shit to make sure the boys are okay. So he's all set to go. Taha comes back into business, and both gents are back to war. Here we go. 2:55 left to go on the clock for the second round. Nothing super crazy happening in this round just this far yet. But you are seeing a little bit more of Taha maybe looking for his opportunity swimming back in. What's up, Marcos Martinez? Glad you can join us. Thank you so much for joining. Nice kick up to the lower thigh of one Taha. Barcelos trying to find his ins, ducks underneath a punch. Meanwhile, also manages to move out of the way where he doesn't have to check a kick as well. We're into a good sparring practice kind of stance here. Oh, beautiful switch of the stance, which then allows Barcelos to come on in and see if he can maybe start chopping down that leg. Look at that. Taz, I think, trying to get that nice little hook as he's moving. It's very interesting to see the implementation of the strategies happening in the second one. And it says Barcelos is continuing to take Taha apart with the kicks. That is a huge part of his strategy here. Taha really trying to make it an uglier fight by just trying to move and just find his way and his edge on inside. The connecting punches, though, are a little stronger and thus far of the second round. Taha really wants to let go. You can kind of get that sense. Barcelos doing a very solid job of making sure he stays out of his range. I do wonder what the CompuStrike stats are going to look like in this one, because it does look like Taha is at the very least trying to make it a way more competitive fight thus far in. A knee tap takedown was attempted by Barcelos, who does not quite get it. Backs up, maybe starts thinking, hey, listen, maybe I don't want to box with this guy. Maybe now, even though I'm still trying to attack part of that calf, I am taking a little bit more damage to the face here. Ooh, beautiful combination there by Taha, who starts with a kick to the lower part of the leg. And look at this, Barcelos is ahead on this second round in terms of significant strikes. Excellent job being done by Barcelos. Look at that, though. Taha's still looking fairly just took a knee to the fucking chin like it was nothing. And now Barcelos with some beautiful different elements to his striking. Taha's just, I don't think he's walking dead, but he is saved by a bell in the second round. Barcelos looking a little winded from that exchange, but he's going to have a minute to get his breath back. Another very solid round for one Barcelos. Whew. What a day. All right, kids, how do you have it scored? Do you have it the same way? I would imagine you do too. Seeing some other notes. Just got another text from y'all. Oh, look at that. Beautiful, nice notes from our friends, our family, all of y'all being great folks to us. I'm guessing y'all have this one, 2-0 Barcelos. If not, you're just probably wrong on that one, if I'm being honest. Round 3. Fucking weird-ass infographic that they have. It begs the question, if technology is so fucking prime, where they have a giant hologram telling you it's round 3, why do we have ring girls? Michael Ochoa coming in with a 2018 score. I would agree with you on that, sir. I think they're talking with Trevor again. Oh my God, all these kicks to the fucking calf. He is chopping down Taha, and whatever the corner was from Barcelos. I think they said, whatever you were doing in those last fucking 60 seconds of that second round, do that and more. And for extra bonus points, Barcelos coming in with a takedown, a very necessary takedown. Now he's starting to control the back, and you were seeing Taha just trying to, for the life, get out of this bad spot. Barcelos trying to go again underneath the chin. I don't know that his chokes have as much urgency here as much as the pressure that he's putting on Taha against the cage. This could be a really good spot for him if he just stays patient and sees it through. Still trying to drag him down, still trying to keep that depression on him. Taha looking up at somebody, asking them, like, Jesus Christ, how the fuck do I get out of this? Oh, he's across the chin. This could be at least a decent enough fucking short choke if he was able to finish it, but instead he just leaves an opportunity for Taha to find his shoulders to the back of the mat. Eek. Well, 3 minutes, while not mounted in kind of that quarter guard, still not super great, as he's also now absorbing shots. Taha almost gets him to guard and trying to be active from here. Barcelos' significant strikes is at 97. His previous best was 82. So that looks good. Oh, look at that. Beautiful Taha moment right there. taking a little cue out of my game there. Almost went kind of into an X guard. Looked like he was going to create that into a calf slicer. And you could tell Barcelos, like a true wrestler, wants nothing to do with any of those leg attacks. And you are seeing Taha try to put some pressure on Barcelos. There is 2 minutes and 15 seconds here. This is going to be interesting to see how the rest of this plays out here, guys. If you are Barcelos, you will likely start implementing a few more of these leg kicks here because you were just opening up an invitation for Taha to find his way back into the fight with letting him connect to the chin continuously. I don't think he wants to do this, but I do think this is the first time we're really seeing Barcelos not, I would say, gassed, but maybe a little tired for the wear. And I think Taha understands that. Even with the minute 35, this is where he's going to have to run up at least some kind of significant strike on Barcelos that could really even things out, because you could see Barcelos' footwork getting a little bit more lazy. Barcelos almost out of instinct, just pressing ahead and punching forward. The form is a little bit more, not sloppy, but just less precise, one might say here, whereas Taha is still getting in some very good hits and very nicely shakes his head like, come on, dude, let's unload with these last 60 seconds, which if you're losing a fight is the right mentality. But if you're Barcelos and you see him just shaking his head and nodding his head, you're like, yeah, dude, why would I want to engage like this? I don't want to war. I'm winning this shit. Now he goes back, getting some good head strikes here, chopping out the legs very quickly. You see Taha continuing to press forward. It's 40 seconds here. He has a lot of ground to make up on. It is not out of the realm. And now we put it back into one Barcelos' corner. Barcelos, I think, having a hard time trying to find the motivation to keep his hands up. Meanwhile, ooh, a nice chop here that's super necessary, except for the fact that Barcelos can't even capitalize on it. And Taha smells that blood and tries to go in for a takedown. Barcelos, out of instinct, very nicely starting to go ahead and put a whizzer over on the top. Now gets that top control, tries to push his way on out. There are 7 seconds here. He needs to not be engaging in this kind of a war this late in the game. 2-1, and we are done. And that is going to be a Barcelos fight, but he is exhausted. Meanwhile, Taha, hands up, looks like he is doing A-okay. The gentlemen both hug it out as then they collapse. And there is some applause from one Shango Dixon. Well, the last round was fun. I mean, overall, it's a very difficult fight to really, I don't think it's difficult to score, but just a difficult fight to process. Obviously, Barcelos, in my opinion, should get the win, but Taha didn't make that boring by any means. I think Taha, even as the underdog going into that second and third round, he at least made that something fun to really come back and see if he could maybe pull it off. I don't think he did. We'll see what the judges have to say in a second. It should be Barcelos' fight, in my opinion, but respect for Taha, man. A lot of people would have crumbled under that pressure. I would have loved to have seen Barcelos at least put a little bit more on those fucking rear naked chokes, man, because that could have been a wrap right then and there. And yet, is what it is. And you will see Barcelos does get the unanimous decision over one Taha. And Eric Anders is saying on Twitter, standing ovation for that fight. Yep, some folks really saying. Yep. Fight of the night from our good friend Kai Kamaka. It's SNL fucking delayed tonight. I'm not in the mood for that. Nobody gives a shit about fucking Notre Dame. Not in that. It says, whoa, they gave him a 10-8 round. Yeah. That happens, bro. All right, Barcelos probably going to go over and get some chatting in with one John Anik, which brings us one more step closer to seeing how this all shakes out. We got 2 more fights here. Co-main and main, fam. All right. Ooh, these chops. So fucking money, though. All throughout the night. Yeah. Just the way he unloaded. I mean, maybe it's just the amount of fucking work that he put in that first round. A little bit in the second as well. But that first round, I think, is just fucking exhausting in terms of output. Shudo, RFA. Look at these numbers. 18 leg strikes, fight summary, 103 head strikes, and 16 to the body. Let's see what Ronnie has to say. He is exhausted. You can see him. Anik is saying, we bow to your greatness. Let's chill here, bro. And they translate it for him right now. It's going to be a long translation. Essentially, I'm just happy I came out with the win. Barry Horowitz. I just appreciate that, Michael Ochoa, you continue your parade of jobbers, which, man, keep saying people like Barry Horowitz, you're barely going to make it on, like, WWE Superstars or Saturday night's main event, pre-main event. John Anik said, if you don't get a bonus tonight, I'm going to give you one. I think that's the dumbest thing you could ever say. Dana White's going to save some money and be like, hey, you fucking dummy, you go give him some money then. Jesus. Angie Overkill is saying, fight of the night. Yeah. It says, Barcelos' performance was on another level. That comes from our good friend G Baby. I would agree. All these great notes about that fight. Love, love, love it. Oof. And it looks like he is ending his play here by asking for a top opponent, which, why not? If you go out there and you put on something like that, see, does Barry Horowitz, after pulling off a submission, does Barry Horowitz after pulling, like, give myself a pat on the back? No, I do, however, with some of the guys, I am prone to, if I get a submission on them, I do act like I won, like, pans or worlds, and I immediately, like, run around the mats. What's up, Low Paka 808? Thanks for joining us, man. Yeah, I definitely have pretended, like, if I get a submission on somebody who's a good-natured training partner, I'll, like, run around with my, like, arms up all around. Guilty of that. Jits Mom, welcome back. I don't know. I just try to keep it entertaining, because sometimes when you train with the same people over and over again, things get a little stale. So you just try to keep it fun. And those are the people who I usually will do a pro wrestling move on, or to, or WWE BJJ move, if you would. Oh, look at this. Michael Ochoa gave us. I didn't see you did that earlier, Ochoa. All right. You get a toast. I see you, bro. All right. This toast goes on out to Michael Ochoa, who is currently leading in recovery time in our Whoop group for Verbal Tap Fam. The toaster's supposed to be nice, right? Okay. I would say that even though it appears like he's cheating and that he's on steroids, he seems to get a lot of recovery time, which I'm not saying he's on steroids. I'm just saying I have stats that maybe signify he could be. A lot of people could be on steroids. Doesn't mean they are. He probably is. Anyway, Michael Ochoa, I guess what I'm trying to say here is thank you so much for being a welcome presence. We appreciate the share. We appreciate you. And, your steroids, they work because I see what you lift. However, I'm still going to put you in a figure four one of these days. Cheers to you. Because you are a jobber. There we go. Toast complete. Yeah, that's the one, right? Actually, that's not a bad idea. I think that's actually a genius idea. I might have to incorporate that into one of our future WWE BJJ movies or films. Oh, we do. By the way, they're not like videos anymore. I've decided to go full like Michael Jackson. My WWE BJJ films, short films. I think they've revolutionized the sports entertainment industry in jiu-jitsu. I'm just saying. Yes, Figueiredo versus Perez, Valentina Shevchenko, Jennifer Maya, Mike Perry versus Tim Means. I love Tim. I don't know that I love that fight for him or that as a replacement. Shogun's on that versus Paul Craig and Caitlin Chukagan versus Cynthia Cavillo. It's not a bad one. Okay. Maybe I'll up that to $35. That's a $35 card. That is not a $65 card. If I'm speaking my mind. And I am. Maybe some of you agree with me on that. If you do not, I will not 100% hold it against you, except I will because I hold grudges. So let us share this now. More options. To newsfeed. Join us for tonight's co-main and main UFC Vegas 13. Bam. All right, kids, talk to me. Iron Mike Sharp. Says, hey, did Burchak win tonight? He unfortunately did not. It was a first round submission. Gustavo Lopez was very solid. I like the best thing that you're doing here, Ochoa, is you're proving how much older you are than just about everybody else with some of these references, by the way. Not that we're saying old is bad, but you know. That's pretty funny. We got to put up the co-main and main on the banners so people who are just joining in will know. Andrei Arlovsky, look at that. This dude's been fighting for fucking ever. And yet, he will be back on tonight. He is taking on Tanner Bosser, or Bozer, if you want to call him that. It says, Bozer may win next up-and-coming fighter. It's true, he is. He's quite good. All right, kids, throw your questions at me. They're at the UFC Apex, and they're having lots of 4D imagery that basically, by the way, was utilized first prominently with the WWE with their WrestleMania entrances. That 4D is just a little more impressive. It says Canada's greatest athlete. Oh, man. Yeah. Tanner, I love that clip, though, with Tanner, where his opponent basically just pulled his opponent literally fell before he could make his way to contact him. Arlovsky's beard is in full effect here, though. Man. It's so weird to see these people for so many years fighting. It says mullet strength. Yeah, def. For sure. Oh, Arlovsky's 41 too. Jesus Christ. Yeah, of course. Ugh. It is funny when they do these greatest hits for Arlovsky because we remember more of some of the losses for this guy. Intriguing. All right. Well, co-main. Who do you guys got? I hear some of you. I don't hear all of you. What's up, everybody who's joining us right now? We're watching UFC Vegas 13. That's a pretty good fight tonight. Well, Tanner's very, very on point about wanting to make this a open and shut case. So he's definitely not short on confidence necessary to take out a former champ in Arlovsky, but we'll see how this one plays out here, kids. Mullet strength is still a very solid comment. All right, where are we at? Where are we at with you guys? Guys having a pretty good night? I'm going to do a quick little solid to see if they have put on SNL because I do want to record that tonight. Sorry, kids, I have to keep my comedy credentials by keeping up on everything. It says, does anyone think Andre will win? All signs point to no. I don't really know that we have anybody who's actively rooting against him. So there is that. I just think people are a little more hard pressed to say, yeah, you know, I think Arlovsky, like that kid's looking pretty good here tonight. I think everybody goes, maybe. I don't know. I also don't love betting against people who are somewhat known to surprise us like that. And there is that for Arlovsky. Oh, Jesus. Everything is delayed here tonight. Yes, tonight is also the SNL with Dave Chappelle, just as a reminder. Jim Powers. Good Lord. Well, I'm waiting to just double check. You guys keep me noticed if we're going to head back on over to the fights. Looks like NBC is going on live right now, which means I better just record the whole thing. Yes, Dave Chappelle is on tonight with the Foo Fighters on SNL. I personally do not want to miss that. So, talk to me. Do any of you want to take the Arlovsky line? I'm just fine if you do. If you don't, you know, you could save some money, and I get that too. All right, getting texts left and right from people. Doing my best to respond to all of them. What else do you guys have going on in your lives? Like, are you going to watch Dave Chappelle on SNL tonight? Lord knows we need him to make fun of everything that we have seen in the country for the past, little bit. It says, I love Arlovsky, but Tanner's power and Andre's chin make for fireworks. Michael Ochoa, I will go with Andre by ankle lock. Do you guys see what I have to put up with here? You can see why Ochoa is prime suspect for losing a WWE BJJ match, right? Anyway. All right, switching back to ESPN now that I have set all of those things to record. It says, but more than likely he's going to go out on his back with his eyes fixed to the light. I mean, that is tradition within, professional wrestling. It is important to go out on your back. It is very funny because that Survivor Series, which will be 30 years to the day, they're doing their final goodbye to The Undertaker. And I keep thinking, like, is he going to just tombstone and chokeslam somebody and then they're going to call it a day? Like, is that what they're going to do with him? Because that's fine. I don't really need a final match with him. And there's no audience. So it's very difficult to figure out what the rub they're giving to anybody is on that one. So anyway. All right. All right. Introductions are made. I have not seen anybody take us up on the Arlovsky action. And it says, Michael Ochoa, do you like WWF Jim Powers or the WCW version? That's an important question, Ochoa. That's on you, bud. Ariel Helwani is putting in a stand. It says, not sure if you know this, but Tanner Boser is about to fight Andre Arlovsky. This is what we need tonight. It says Tanner Boser's mullet looks especially Canadian tonight. Could be bad news for Arlovsky, and that is from one Ben Folks. And ladies and gentlemen, that's why they pay him the big bucks. Look at those essential comments from Ben Folks's. All right, here we go. Fight begins in 3, 2, 1. Both gentlemen exchange a quick high five to one another, and we're off to the races here. Mullet already starting again, some good bounce over here. I wonder, I never really thought about this, but are you shampooing a mullet or do you just let it breathe? These are things I wonder about, people. Footwork on the beginning. Arlovsky not even moving from center octagon. Literally just standing there. He might be just looking like a standing target for Boser, though. This does concern me. I do not like the way Arlovsky looks. And this is making a lot of assumptions. But I think Boser might get in on him quicker than we think. Nice kick to the outside front lead leg of Arlovsky right there. I mean, if anything, there is a showcase for the mullet here. Look at this. Thank God. We have one person taken. Jit's mom taking Arlovsky. Thank you so much. Got to give some love to our elders in the UFC community. Arlovsky's been around for ages. He deserves your support. Now, granted, I don't know he's going to win. His movement is very concerning to me at this time, but I appreciate you coming in. We always say there's always a puncher's chance, which still is a very weird phraseology, if we're being honest. It says Arlovsky lands a couple of nice jabs, but Boser is chipping away at this. Ochoa responded and said WWF Powers because he went from a jobber status to a solid tag career. Look at this. This man trying to come in with some jobber knowledge right now. $246, and you really wouldn't have convinced me anything significant has happened in thus far in the fight. Arlovsky almost looked like he kind of like slight tripped right there for himself, but okay. Well, Okay, this is not an exciting fight. It says, I wish we had the stats and the tail of the tape on the mullet, though. Me too. That's actually the most exciting aspect of the fight thus far in, if we're being honest. I can't exactly hear what Dominic is saying, but I think he is subtly trying to shade both of the fighters at this point. This is the point when we just drink. If there's nothing happening in the fight, this is the moment we just go. I do like the spin from Arlovsky there. Good high kick by Bozer. Ooh. Bozer sees it coming with a nice little sidekick action there from Arlovsky. Okay, so I asked you guys if you shampoo the mullet. Is he also like flat ironing it? Like, does he have to straighten it with like a little, burn? I mean, given that it's a mullet, it might actually be that someone actually gets an iron out and just kind of like, yeah, I'm having a good week, No, sorry, dude. I know that hit the top of your head. Oh, yikes. Well, it looks like Arlovsky is going to kind of at least make a good statement here at the very end of this first round. Good overhand right. And that is the most significant strike of that round. That says, I would perm that shit. I don't even know what I would do, honestly. My hair gets very froey. I've like straightened it once when I was a kid. And it was very strange. But yeah, every once in a while it starts to curl up. It says Arlovsky is moving great for someone who's 946 in fight years. That is true. He is aging like essentially a Yoda would. It's just kind of a bummer seeing this is the tail end to it. I know we got a lot of the whole retirement talk with Khabib and saying like, should we retire? And all I kept thinking is, I'm like, dude, you're 32. And I know there's got to be like a middle ground of telling people that we go, can we vote on if we think you should retire? Because I feel like we would have retired as a community, like as Americans. We would have voted to retire, Diego Sanchez. But unfortunately, he continues to press on. That's just what's happening. So anyway, back to the fights, kids. Round number dos. Maybe in this round we might see 20 strikes. Hard to say. Ooh, maybe I should preface that. 20 strikes that connect. It's important to note that. So Arlovsky checks a kick outside. Is fight years like dog years? Yes, very much so. Because there are some people that you see fight, and this happens in jiu-jitsu too, but let's say Cyborg. Roberto Cyborg Abreu. If you were to tell me how old is that man, but before you did that, you would ask me to guess his age, I would probably say that dude is in his 50s. And then when you would tell me, oh, no, actually, he is 40 years old, I'd say, huh? Like, no, I'm almost 40. Ugh. As a reminder, yes, a positive COVID test did scrap the Ian Shinich versus Brandon Allen fight from today's card. So, unfortunately, that is something that we had to see happen before us. So, very, very unfortunate start to today's card. That's why the card actually started at 4:30 Best Coast time. But yes, fight years not very kind to people as well. You'll see that with some of these guys. Ooh, look at that. Arlovsky got like almost a hook on that kick. I mean, it connected. It was just not bad. Not bad. We'll say that. This is always the hardest part about doing the fight companions, is when you get a fight that's not super good. Oh no, that's a worse comment. I'm going to tell him you said this. Arlovsky looks like a giant Thor Skanky. I mean, I'm not going to tell him that. Arlovsky obviously has a better beard than Thor does, if we're being honest, right? Also, maybe that's the look that Thor's going for. Woo! Arlovsky, look at that. Oh, God. This is when you know the fight is not exciting, that we're getting people asking me about about grappling in the gi. People use the gi to smother. Do you think you could use a beard in the same way? Fair question. I would assume that, yes, if you had a beard as powerful as Arlovsky's, or even, say, a Roy Nelson, you could probably... I would assume you could probably make something very uncomfortable for people. Not just because it's super gross and because, you know, a lot of people would unkeep them like that. But, you know, I mean, it's a possibility. I think everything's possible. And more importantly, it does provide a little bit of a grip that somebody could get very aggressive with and start to use against you. So I would highly recommend it. We go into the last minute of the second round, and now they're starting to exchange. Now we're starting to get somewhere between these two. So I'm appreciating that. And according to Wood says, I posted on the socials and tagged us all. Look at that. I mean, listen, I have only said mostly complimentary things about Thor, so he'll be just fine hearing that, I'm sure. I will tell you, you know who Thor reminds me of when he speaks? And I've said this to a couple people, but when Thor talks, he sounds like Kyle Kinane. And if you don't know who Kyle Kinane is, first of all, go look him up. He's a fabulous comedian. But second of all, he's the guy who used to do the commercials for Comedy Central, who used to do the voiceover for it. I don't remember if I told him that, but I swear I told Thor that, and I don't know if it registered, but I think it's a good compliment. He doesn't deserve that good of a voice, but, you know, power to him. All right, last 15 seconds. Ooh, look at that. Arlovsky was able to make Bozer to kind of back up and grab the fence there and bounce back off of it. All right. We go to a third round in about a minute. Well, I love the commercial for the Pillsbury Doughboy happening right now. Eek. This is so dumb whenever they do these commercials, because it's like they just gave Pillsbury Doughboy kind of croissants to some kids, and they make it seem like that's all the kids have for dinner. They're just like, hey, listen, I'm a very neglectful mom. Here's some really shitty pastry that you can have. That's your dinner. And also here's a piece of fruit. You're good, right? I digress. I know I just got tagged. So this is Adam Woods. I want to show you guys what Woods just did to me. I think it's very funny. So just so you get a vibe of what I'm seeing on my socials, this is what Woods. Oh God, that's too meta. Remove. Never mind. It's too much. Oh God, I thought that was gonna work. Share screen, application window, Chrome tab. There we go. This is the photo that I look like. That he tagged me with Thor. Yeah, that'll be good. I think Thor will enjoy that. Anyway, back to the fights. All right, let's fucking get to the bottom of this right now. Ooh, Bozer's starting to put it on. Arlovsky bounces back off the cage, comes charging back very slowly, and you are seeing Bozer start to chip away at that front leg again. That's probably a winning strategy, I think, for him. I haven't even bothered to ask you who you guys think is winning this fight. Maybe because you only have passing interest. It could also be in the fact that none of your questions have had anything to do with this fight. And I'm okay with that. I'm just saying, I thought by now one of you would have chimed in and said, I thought this person's winning. Not the case. Not happening right now. I'm going to do a sweep just to make sure we catch up on all of our cheersing in just a minute. But I think we are caught up. If you give us a like and a share on Facebook, we obviously give you a toast, just like those fights who have fighters with finishes in regulation. We'll also be doing, I think I want to remind you guys, there's a combat jiu-jitsu that's happening on a Sunday at the end of the month. So just remember that. Mark that on your calendars. Otherwise, it's business as per usual for some fight weeks here coming up on some Saturdays. I got to look at how the fight schedule is going to actually shake out for the UFC as they close up their year. They've mentioned that they're looking into going back to Abu Dhabi very, very soon at the beginning of the year. And really, there is no break until Christmas. Tight. Yep, UFC trying to make up for lost time here, kids. 2 minutes and 40. There is more stuff that looks like striking that is happening between these two. According to Woods, just put that down there. I don't even think Thor uses Twitter, though, which is strange because he posts a lot in which he talks. That is a great photo, by the way. I cannot tell you how amused by that I am. Well, those are continuing to try and make things a little interesting for Arlovsky. I got 2 minutes. I think, let's put it this way. Whoever wins this round will just win it in my book. I think sometimes you can have a fight so insignificant that you could just tell the person, hey, listen, I fell asleep the first 2 rounds, honestly. Double or nothing round. How about that? We should do that. I think that would be a way more fun exercise. If you literally look down at a scorecard in the first 2 rounds, you're not feeling enthused, you can do a double or nothing round. The difference is you got to get like a game show host that comes in and tell you, okay, clearly no one won these rounds. They were very boring. But if you both agree to this, we'll double your purse. I mean, here's the good news is you got Tanner, who's very good at bouncing off of the cage, which with the mullet would lead me to believe he also is a jobber in the WWE. Ooh, I like that hook from Boser and on the chin of Arlovsky, which thus far has remained intact. So take that. The internet. Arlovsky, and I realize I say this and he could still lose in 30 seconds, but Arlovsky will make it through this fight. Yeah, I want to say this. Ooh, look at this. Arlovsky has 20 head strikes, and Boser has 30 leg kicks. That's really the story that you see in front of you right now. Boser might just have enough. It's just going to depend on how that differentiates. I want to thank all of you guys for watching along with us. Enjoy having you here. Going to take a little quick audit to see who's joining us right now. We've gotten some likes from our friends. Appreciate y'all coming on in. Feel free to tell us how you scored that fight. Do you have Arlovsky winning that one, or do you have Tanner Boser winning that one? Chime in, because one of them has to win it. And it says, well, I was wrong on Andre going out. Give him the W. That was a snoozer emoji of a fight. Yes. Agree. All right, kids. I've seen you all say things. I I don't know how much you are invested. Sometimes I will take a drink if a fight ends that we're just kind of glad that it ended. So I'm doing that right now. This drink is just in celebration. It's over. All right. One last fight. This one, as we mentioned earlier, has a little bit of a split, at least from some of the friends I was talking to on how they saw it playing out. We will get a final result coming in right now. Very boring fight, but I still have Arlovsky. Okay. Let's see how the judges have it. As John Anik is giving us the rundown right now. Here we go. Andrei Arlovsky gets the win, 29-28, unanimous decision. Well done. And in case you hear some moderate squeaking, that's my dog Lucy, who now has a Spider-Man toy that she is essentially demonizing like Venom. Oh, yeah, she's feeling this one. She is enjoying this one a lot. She does that thing where she grabs it and then shakes her head around consistently just to show it some dominance. Oh, is Arlovsky? No, he's doing a selfie. I thought he was going to unload on the wraps here real quick. Well, Arlovsky does get the win. Congratulations to Jits Mom. You were right on that one. Again, I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but I think double or nothing third rounds should be a thing. We could talk more about this one in post, but at least should be something that we explore going forward. All right. Arlovsky is making his way on over. He will talk to one John Anik. That should be interesting to see how that one plays out. Ben Folks captures the heart of the nation by saying, that wasn't a whole lot of fun. Yes, correct. Yeah, even Arohawani is taking some heat online, saying, yeah, no, my bad, everybody. Oh, Jesus. Dominic Cruz has no time for highlights because there were none and just says, hey, Anik, could you just do the interview? Oh, Arlovsky does not look super impressed with it. Arlovsky realizing the magic and power of television by going to a remote room and pointing over at John Anik off screen and saying, hey, I see you. Arlovsky saying he has to do Russian first. I think he was saying he needed to talk to his mom. There is a lot of talk of coaches pushing hard. Wow, most wins in UFC history at 19. Good for him. What is up, CRNI Rules? Thanks for joining us. We're watching UFC Vegas 13. Apparently, Arlovsky is saying he could hear Dana White in his head. If you hear Dana White in your head for more than 2 hours, please consult a doctor. John Anik is asking a 30-19 fighter, what is the key of the success in your career at this point? I think he is saying, I'm fighting great, even though I'm 41, because hashtag George Foreman. And they're bleeping him out, which is really odd to hear them continue to bleep him out consistently. G Baby, I just saw you give us another share, so appreciate that one right now. We'll give you another toast in a minute. And John Anik wishes him well on his safe travels. Okay, well, that wasn't great, but we got through it. But you know what? It is great. Dana White Contender Series happens this Wednesday, or is it Tuesday? No, it's Tuesday. It was on Wednesday this week because of the election. Oops. But it is back on Tuesdays, so we do have that going on. I believe that's for another 5 weeks. Then in 2 weeks, that's a good one. Islam Makhachev versus Dos Anjos. So Rafael Dos Anjos looking like the bad guy from Commando right there with this mustache. So very much appreciating that. All right, this is the last fight. They're going to milk it for all it's worth. It says 25 cents Canadian. I'm rich. Wow. Good. Ochoa says Vinny Vegas Arlovsky. I can kind of see it. I think you're stretching that one a little bit. Thiago Santos, kind of hard to remember. This dude's number 1 ranked in that division right now. Glover Textura is number 3. Well, this should have some implications. Woo! Sorry for the yawn, everybody. Eek. You can tell them production hours are working. All right, let's get that comment off. I will now ask you all who is going to win this fight. Make it sweet, short, simple. Santos or Textura. Into the comment section it goes. Bam. Hit me. Also, I'll do one for G Baby in just a second. All right, G Baby. I got to vote for Santos. It's kind of where I was leaning too. Although I was getting people who were saying, why would you overlook? What's up, Tyler? How could you overlook the work of one Glover Textura? And I just say, like, listen, dude, I don't know what that guy's going to be like tonight. And to be fair, we did see a very game Santos, when he's on, put it on John Jones, and that is fun to see. So tell me in that. It says Glover turning back the clock to the pit. Kempo Karate. You're so in love with the karate here tonight, Ochoa. Can't deal with you. All right. All right, Thiago Santos talking about what life was like after John Jones. Oh, that's right. They're saying this is one of the rare times where it's Brazil on Brazil crime. It says Freddy the 13th. I take you're a horror film fan. After losing to John Jones, I lifted more weights and punched more things with resistance bands. Joffrey taking a stand here and saying Glover Textura for the upset. And I see a note here that says, after the last fight, I feel like the main event is going to be anticlimactic. Well, don't do that to us. Come on. We need something good to go out on here, especially after that last fight. We don't need another one of those. We need good vibes, put out positive, whatever the fuck it's supposed to be, the secret. That was the thing people did, right? We want to put out the energy that this is supposed to be a good fight. So that way we enjoy it. Do we know that's true? No. Does it actually help? Possibly not. But if it does end up being a bad fight, I will blame you first. Just reminding you of that. Well, the dog is already looking for a treat for going on its pad, which is the best way of symbolizing she did not care for that last fight. Fortunately, producer wife Kelly is all on top of it. So much appreciation to the wife for taking care of the dog while we are on. Hey, Bryce, congratulations to you, sir. I see you podiumed over at the Jiu-Jitsu World League. Big congrats to you, bro. Hope you were enjoying your time out there. Hope you got some good competition footage. If you didn't, that's okay too, but you are welcome to send that to me and I will make fun of you in the whole version of it. So that's what you got. Folan Miller. Falona? Sorry. I might have misread that one. Hello. Welcome to the show. Yes, sir. Thank you, brother. No, thank you. You're great, man. It says, according to Woods, karate always brings exciting fights. This will be like the finals of the All Valley. Which All Valley? There's many All Valleys now that there's Cobra Kai of the series, which is canon. So please include that in your discussion of all things Karate Kid universe. Or is it KKU? Don't know. We're working on the name. It's a little on the risky side there. So let's see here. We got a walkout to Welcome to the Jungle from Glover Teixeira. That's not a bad walkout song. Grand scheme of things, it kind of works. He's an old dude. I could see him at a bar listening to this song. It says, what are you streaming right now? UFC. Yes, we are watching UFC Vegas 13. Right now, Glover Teixeira is making the walkout, which means Thiago Santos is soon to follow. But yes, it's very rare now that we get walkouts in the UFC. They try to bum rush them very quickly when they're behind schedule or they do not want to pay the rights to use a song. So those are the two things we're looking at. You got Glover Teixeira at the young age of 41 still fighting. I always wonder who gets stuck with like, hey man, did you bring my shoes back? Oh, you know what? I left them at the Octagon. I'm so sorry. They weren't Jordans, were they? Oh, I feel so bad. Do you want me to go back and get them? I hope they're still there. I mean, I'll text Dana and see if there's lost and found. Clearly, he's not doing anything else, so he should be able to answer this real quick. All right, listen to this. Glover Teixeira finished 26 of 31 fights, 18 knockouts. That is pretty impressive. Got some good hops there. It's good for 41. Look at that. Looking nimble, looking ready to go ahead and get in there, mix it up. It'll be very interesting to see how he plays this one out tonight. The MMA fighting headline says, Andrei Arlovsky powers his way to a unanimous decision. Powers is a strong word, MMA fighting. Let's be clear. Oh, wow, babe. They just put a snapshot of the SNL. And one of my writer friends just says, we all talk about the amazing SNL writers and performers, but damn, snaps for the costume team because they replicated it very well for Maya Rudolph's interpretation of Kamala. So that's what's up. It says, phone's about to die, brother. Talk with you soon. All right, cool. Again, congratulations to you, man. Moderately proud of you. Now, go recharge your phone, you giant dork. What is a Ninja Star Crack? That's a name. Thiago walking out. Like he has a poncho flag? No, he's just, well, does it? I can't tell if he's found a perfect way to drape it or if he has like an actual poncho flag. Well, he might have just found a very, very clever way of wearing it. Good on him. All right. Thiago about to enter the cage right now with this giant Thor hammer tattoo on his chest. How many hours do you think went into that? You know, a lot of times when people get those like tattoos, they kind of go like, hey, I want this on my chest. And they go, cool. So like just like right here or something. No, the whole thing. Like I want the hammer to be here and the handle to go all the way down. You'd be like, bro, are you sure, man? You're gonna get old and you're gonna look at this. And you're gonna think to yourself, you still have a hammer on your chest at the age of 78. And he's like, nah, man, want it. Give me it. I still feel like the greatest chest tattoo fail of all time is still Brock Lesnar's, who got capped on so hard by putting a grenade on his chest region, and people kept calling it a dick, that he decided, I'm going to make it's not a dick, it's a sword. Make it a sword. So it just goes to show you can bully someone like Brock Lesnar via the internet. It happens. All right, I got notes. I got some of you who have chimed in thus far in. I'm going to ask you once again. Glover from one Ochoa, which is still very funny. Joffrey was saying Glover Textura for the upset. I don't know that I want to change my vote here. Glover's record is very impressive. I think Thiago just probably wants to make this night time. What's up, 10th Planet Pasadena? Good to see you. Hope you've been doing well. I got Calma coming in with Santos. Okay. I see you. I think I agree with you. 36 and 41. And both of them, I mean, mirrored on the reach and mirrored on the weight. So otherwise, it's just age as the difference between the two. There's a 5-year age gap between both of these competitors. Hope everything is going well with you, 10th Planet Pasadena. Saw you guys giving some love to, what was it? Some different clips I've seen you guys put up. I see you guys being busy on social media. It's acknowledged. It's appreciated. Oh, look at that. The Herb Dean ready to adjudicate this right now. Glover looking like some dude wants to go date his young daughter, pacing around. I do wonder how long we're going to be doing no audience events, though. Because you do get the impression that despite the warnings, we should not have audiences. Dana White is ready to put in an audience at the drop of a hat without giving a fuck. What is up, T BJJ Esquire? Good to see you. Johnny Walker is chiming in on Twitter and saying, I'm excited for this. Both warriors very tough. 31 and 7 though for Glover. I'm trying to remember though, who are the people that have beaten Glover Textura? Let's all take a little journey together and remember who those folks are. Glover Textura has been beaten by the following. Last loss was back in July 2018 to Corey Anderson, who has since moved on to Bellator. Previous loss to Alexander Guskus, Anthony Johnson. Then you got to date back to 2014 for his last 2 losses back-to-back, which were Phil Davis and John Jones. The connecting thread for both of these gentlemen is John Jones, and that, yes, both of them were able to take John Jones to a decision. So just as we should remind you of all of that. Shangos chimes in and says they should do a Thunderdome situation like the WWE. I actually don't think so. I think we somehow make this version of MMA work just fine, but boxing is real fucking weird without an audience. Like somehow this has been prepped into our minds with the Ultimate Fighter and things like that, where you can see a fight and it's a little more quieter. You take out the pomp and circumstance and 50 hours of walkouts in boxing, it's just fucking weird. So that's the one I think is hurt a little bit more by all of this. And we begin. 4:52 on my clock. This is very strange. Normally, the Brazilian fighter goes in with the yellow trunks, but it appears that Glover Teixeira won that battle between the two Brazilians here. Meanwhile, Santos is in the black trunks, and it does look like Santos is trying to unload very quickly here. Sometimes the things you don't see on screen, kids. All right. According to Woods, chimes in and says, Glover looks like Mr. Clean. Kind of. I kind of see where you're at on this. Ugh. Do not love trying to get into an exchange with Glover. No, that's not looking great. Santos is putting in work on his face. No, do not stay underneath him, Glover. This is not the right choice. These elbows also look dicey, all just to get a small takedown, which I don't think the takedown is the wrong choice, but he does not need to be directly in the line of fire here against Thiago Santos, who he does get a reprieve for just a second as he's pushing him up against the cage. Things were not looking great for Thiago Santos, though. I'm sorry, for Glover Teixeira, just for a few moments. Now, Glover gets a beautiful takedown. Now we're talking straight into mount. He's going to start working the back. This is where you need to work the head and arm choke, bro. This is where you need to really, really take your time to put that pressure on one Thiago Santos. This is where you really can win the competition. However, Thiago needs to just immediately start getting out of this. He needs to create one of these legs to create a butterfly hook to maybe extend him out just a smidge and start working from here. But Johnny Bones chimes in and says, we got ourselves a fight here. And I believe that's in regard to a takedown. So yeah, between knockout power from one Thiago Santos and the jiu-jitsu acumen of one Glover Teixeira, who, man, you just got to feel like he really should try and take the back here. But I think he's actually, unlike most other folks, actually more comfortable attacking from within that half guard region, because that whole time that you see Santos trying to create a frame, that's when Glover Teixeira does a really good job of continuing to punch, get in an elbow, and allow himself some time to just run up the clock with control time. Oof. Now some harder strikes from Glover. Yup. Looking nice. What is up? All right. 1 minute 50 left to go in the first round here. And this is really nice. I mean, if Glover could make a nice statement here with these elbows on Santos, this could really change the dynamic of how he comes back in that second round. Okay. Now you are seeing Santos with a guard here. I'm seeing Kalma say, what a turnaround. What a turnaround indeed. The question is, can it last? You get the impression here that Santos is going to make it into a second round, which is good for him. How will he look in the second round? How is Glover going to look in the second round? Is he going to burn all of his energy out here? Because I still feel like Glover's best chance in those exchanges on the ground, yeah, he's ahead on the ground strikes, but dude, I think you kind of want to submit the shit out of the guy. Could be wrong. But he is working very nicely with these punches from inside of Santos's guard. So working to Santos's advantages in about 30 seconds, he will see an end of a round, which will give him a little bit of a rest time so that he could start back up on the feet. However, you got to know the strategy is going to be exactly this. Glover is going to be looking for that takedown, and he's going to be aggressive in pursuing it, almost to the extent that he's going to leave a lot of openings for strikes. So that's a very dangerous combination between the two, and we go to the end of the very first round. Both gents now will get a chance to go to their corners, and let's see who has a better implementation of what their corner has to say. Better than we thought it would be. And shame on you, one Woods, for telling us, hey, listen, this main event is going to be anticlimactic. Compared to that last fight, this might as well be Stephan Bonnar and Forrest Griffin. So we're in good business here. Everything's going great, especially compared to that last fight, which we all admittedly took a nap during. But again, I will say double or nothing third rounds. Let's just put a pin on that one. We'll return to it. I will reference it at least 5 more times on the actual Verbal Tap podcast. Kamaka says he's got to be gassed. I would be too. Ariel Helwani calls Glover Teixeira the ageless wonder, which is hyperbole at its worst. I feel like you can say many things about Glover Teixeira, which is he fights very well, but calling him ageless is inaccurate. Second round, 4:56 on my clock. Here we go. Yeah, you're going to see Santos try and make Glover pay for it this entire time. It says, I was wrong. I can admit it. I'm glad I was, frankly. Yeah, I'm actually the same way about my electoral map. I actually had an outline that I thought, and I was pretty close, but I'm more than happy to be wrong. Glover does get the takedown. So this is a good spot for him to be in, working from inside of the guard. And you probably don't have to worry too much about Santos trying to pull off an armbar here. So if he chooses to stay in this position, this is not bueno for him. All right, Glover now starting to learn a little bit more from that last round, getting a little bit more inside intel. What's up, Bobby? If he chooses to take that leg out right now and starts to kind of escape the trapped leg in between the guard, this would give him mount again. Ooh, I do not like the way that Santos is trying to push on the leg that's trapped. It doesn't make any sense. You want to push yourself away from it. It doesn't work like that. It's okay. He's getting punched in the face. I can understand that. Slight confusion. But it does speak a little bit more on how this is the game plan that you need if you're Glover Teixeira, who very quickly was trying to pass and found himself right back into that quarter guard, which, again, in jiu-jitsu, not great. In fighting, you're just fine being here if you're on top. Okay. Glover feeling just fine here. We mentioned a little bit earlier, ground control time is 5 minutes and 4 seconds for Glover Teixeira in his side. And yes, Santos cannot get up from here. And Glover is trying to take advantage of it. He's capitalizing with a lot of good elbows. I would say, though, that Santos is doing a pretty good job on trying to direct some of these attacks just a little off of him so that he's not eating it consistently. He is continuously giving up his back, which would make me hope that, Glover had a better back attack system here so he could kind of put it on a wrap. But it seems like Glover is just fine with maybe trying to either exhaust him to the point where he can do it. But I am seeing a little bit of signs of Glover being kind of gassed from punching as much as he can here. Good escape. Now we're talking here. Santos with a brilliant read as you see Glover try to kind of knee slide his way into passing the guard. And every time he does it, almost instinctively, you see Santos from underneath push the knee straight back into that half guard. Now you are seeing, though, Santos start to cover up just a little bit more. And Glover starting to cup the back of the head. If he were to choose, a head and arm triangle would be right there in front of him. And it does look like maybe that's part of the play here. Maybe he's just been softening him up to exhaust him to the point where he can go ahead and easily kind of slip the one in. Now he's in side control here. No worry about getting past the legs. Lots of options for him to take here. He's getting some elbows in with really good positioning on a very exhausted Santos who does not look comfortable in any part of this. This is Glover's best opportunity here. You do see Santos kind of get over to his side. This would be terrible if you had somebody who really wanted to take advantage of you on the jiu-jitsu side. It says Ande versus Tanner on your header. Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I'm going to go ahead and change that one right now just for you because you're the only person who obviously cares about that. Because if we're being honest, I think I don't even care. But here we go. Well, bam. 34 seconds here, folks, in the second round. And Santos just cannot seem to get out of this position at all. I think that is due in part to maybe not having a ton of experience being in this kind of bad position with somebody who can keep a good weight distribution. And the other part being just Glover knows how to keep him right then and there. And he's making life very uncomfortable. Here's the rear naked choke that we've been talking about with him giving up his neck consistently. This is bad news for Santos, who may have to tap here, but he makes it to the end of the round and looks just exhausted for the wear. He will go to a third round, but he is looking like, man, I have made some choices in my life. His crew comes over, tells him to get on the stool, and I think he knows that this is getting dicey for him. Says, how long did he survive? How much longer can he go? All great questions. Brett Akamoto was saying Glover Teixeira has got that old man strength times 1 million going in his favor. Agree, but I think he could have gotten the tap if he was actually a little lower on the chin. That's my only reservation about that right now. And you could see that Thiago Santos is just not feeling it. Again, peppering your takedown with a good hit to the chin right there is always a beautiful way to do it. Ariel was trying to say if there was 5 to 10 more seconds left in round 2, Teixeira would be celebrating. I'm not 100% convinced. I think there is one thing that really worked in his favor, which is you did not see Santos do a good job of fighting that 2-on-1. He just lucked out that it happened to be at that right time, right place. Here we go, third round right now. Woo. Oh! Santos clips fucking Glover right now. Glover on his back, just trying to offset some of these punches. And you do see Santos acting with urgency. 4:36 left to go. This is now a little bit of revenge time for Thiago Santos. As I mentioned earlier, it was just you knew that part of the fight was going to be Glover going in for those takedowns. The question is if you were going to see Santos able to clip him in the process of trying to set up one of them. And this time it did take. It only took 2 rounds for him to get part of that timing. And now you're seeing Thiago Santos maybe consider not only just passing, but working possibly here to get a little bit underneath for a split second, maybe for that head and arm. Nope, he's going to give it up because I think he wants to make Glover Teixeira's life just as miserable as his life was on his back. So to answer your question, how much longer can he go? Depends on who we're talking about now. This is a whole new ball game with this. 3 minutes, 40 seconds with somebody who hits as hard as Santos. You do not want to be here. However, Glover, resourceful, gets up on a single leg now, has back controls, trying to lift up for a suplex, another turn in the tide. And you do see Glover somehow managed to get to mount against an almost exhausted Thiago Santos. A rear naked choke is applied. This one is better for the wear, and he does get a tap. Wow. We talk about a puncher shot. That's not just a puncher shot. That was a jiu-jitsu shot, a puncher shot, a wrestler shot. And the two of them very nicely are exchanging some nice words to each other over here. Wow. That has to be one of the crazier back and forths I've seen in a 5-minute segment between two gents. Now, I did not pick Glover Teixeira. I just wondered at 41, how do you bet on him? Well, you bet on somebody who's not only durable, but has a very solid game plan and is very, very stubborn. I cannot tell if he's got a hematoma on the top of his head. Michael Ochoa says, what a fight. What a fight indeed, dude. Oof, to come back from that initial fucking strike right up top. And then to really find the grit to get that single leg, take control of the back. I kept mentioning how much he was not defending that back. John Bones Jones is tweeting out a pair of eyes as if to signal, man, I would beat him up again if I could. Wow. That was interesting. We'll do a cheers for him in just a moment, but my God. All right. MMA King says, Glover Teixeira's fight IQ has to be in the 99th percentile. What he lacks in physical abilities at his age, he more than makes up for in smarts. Be very interesting to see what that post-fight is going to look like between those two in the presser. That's insane. Well, that fight does have all the emotions there, man. All right, let's do some housekeeping before we get to what the post-fight interview is going to be in just a second here. I want to say thank you to everybody who's tuning in. As we mentioned, we'll have a new episode of Grappling Hour on Tuesday at 1 p.m. Mark a calendar. I can tell you the guests right now. We should have two guests. We're going to have BJJ Damien, who just won the Sogi Invitational back out east. Congratulations to him. Cash prize. So I'm very lucky to talk to him. And then tomorrow we're also going to be talking to our good friend one Ash Williams, who is the triple champ of Polaris, which is insane. First of all, I didn't even know they had 3 different titles, let alone triple champ. So very excited to catch up with my friend. That'll again air on Tuesday at 1 p.m. Very much looking forward to that. Glover Teixeira looking ever so tired, but props to him, dude. He also vaguely looks like a Bond villain at this point. Fight of the night contender, absolutely. But I thought we had another fight of the night that we somehow didn't mention here. Oh no, Thiago Santos was going in for the hug, but Glover Teixeira was too busy looking at the camera to say some words. There's a lot of pointing, a lot of number one. Oh, and now he comes over to say, I'm sorry, dude. I want to give you a hug. I was busy. I had to yell at the camera, dude. You know what it's like. I'm 41. I don't got time for this kid. We can talk about this later. It says, would you rather see Jan Blachowicz fight for the light heavyweight title? Nah. Yeah, they're asking, who would you rather see fight Jan Blachowicz for the UFC light heavyweight title? Nah. We'll talk about that one later. We don't have to worry about that tonight. Tonight is Glover Teixeira's night, and allowing him the opportunity to get to speak with John Anik in a second will be very interesting. We'll do a cheers to him after I hear what he has to say. Eek! Yeah, that first round, he was eating those shots. Is that from the new toy? Yeah, that's what I thought. Oh, from Butterfly. Yeah, my dog's a machine. She's basically tearing apart her toys. She does it in record time, but this is one she's been working on for a while. And it finally gave way. She's trying to eat part of the ear off. She's an impressive dog. That's what we can say about her. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, I know that we saw Fight of the Night contender a little bit earlier, but just that was so impressive to watch. And especially with between these two being the kinds of fighters that they are, I would probably tell you that you got plenty. You will be very pleased to see either of these fights get it, but I feel like that 5 minutes that we saw here just really encapsulated why this probably is going to end up getting your fight of the night. John Anik speaks to him. And Glover's in great spirits. Thiago says his nickname is Sledgehammer, and I'll tell you, man, you feel every part of it. I think he's trying to say he also has a broken bone of some sort. And now he's giving props to all of the people in his camp. He has 15 wins in the light heavyweight division. John Anik is asking him, what did it feel like to get hit in that third round with that left hand? I think Glover's saying that it looks like a knockdown, but in actuality, it was more of an off balance, which is a nice pivot. And Glover's saying he knew that once he let go of those big shots, he was going to be able to start finding his submission. So John Anik is now asking him, what's next for you? And he seems to be asking Dana White, give him a shot. So he is asking very politely, as the oldest way possible, that he deserves that shot. So he's saying safe travels to him. And he speaks with a little bit of the Portuguese to end his time there. All right, fam, let's close this bitch up. As we were mentioning, Kevin and I record the next episode of Verbal Tap tomorrow. We'll have a new installment ready for you to hear probably late tomorrow, late evening. There's also going to be another episode of Grappling Hour that'll air on Tuesday. Our aforementioned guests, BJJ Damien from out the East Coast folks, part of the junior squad of the Danaher Death Squad as well, who's been killing it, crushing it. Very, very much looking forward to seeing him and chatting with him tomorrow. And we're also going to have Ash Williams, the triple champ of Bellator and a good friend of ours. So we want to thank our sponsors, Nogi BJJ Gear. We want to thank you for watching. We want to also thank our good friends over at dodgycollective.com for giving us love and support. We love and support them back. As we start to close things up, I also want to tell you guys, we'll be back here again next Saturday. So we'll be doing another fight companion, but I think for right now, we're done, folks. It has been a great day for grappling. We'll see you back on the mats.